Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you an unboxing plus on-feet video of the Adidas Nitrocharge 2.0 in the black and solar slime colorway. Now inside the box, all you get are the shoes themselves, as you can see. And for those of you that don't know much about this shoe, it is the first takedown model in Adidas's Nitrocharge lineup, the first shoe below the top end 1.0, and it has a retail price of $100 US. Now, for those of you guys that have watched my videos a little more closely over the last year or so, you know that I've been fairly critical of a lot of Adidas takedowns. Most notably, the takedowns in the F50 line, the F30 and F10 models are, in my opinion, shoes that are not worth the money at all. And it's actually surprising to me that people go to the store, try those on, and pick those out as their favorite shoe of anything else on the wall in that same price range. And unfortunately, something like the Nitrocharge 1.0 kind of falls into that same category for me personally. Now, I know a lot of you guys watching this video may actually have a pair of Nitrocharge 1.0s, and a lot of you might actually like this shoe, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're comfortable wearing it and you're enjoying it, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But I'm one of those people that's in a unique position where I get to wear pretty much all of the models from all the big brands, especially whether it be high-end and low-end. So I have a pretty good idea of what is a good quality shoe for the price. And when I look at something like the Nitrocharge 2.0, I see that $100 retail price tag, and I think, is this the best shoe I can get for $100? And the first shoe that comes to mind right now is the Nike Tiempo Legacy. They just released it, has the exact same retail price, $100, and it's kind of difficult to argue, to me at least, that the Tiempo Legacy is anywhere near the Nitrocharge 2.0 when it comes to overall quality. If you're talking about quality of materials, the quality of the overall construction, and even the finish on the shoe, the Legacy is leaps and bounds ahead of the Nitrocharge 2.0 in pretty much every category. So can I recommend the Nitrocharge 2.0 even before wearing it for the $100 price tag? No, I cannot. And I have to say, I'm actually pretty disappointed with what is on this shoe in comparison to the top end 1.0 model. Now, of course, I have to understand that this is a takedown model. It's not going to have all the same features as the top end shoe, but what you actually get as far as trade-offs go for half the price essentially is very, very little. Now, the Nitrocharge 1.0 is a shoe that was designed around providing protection while still maintaining a lightweight construction and not adding too much extra bulk to the shoe, and it does that extremely well. The Nitrocharge 1.0 is a fantastic shoe and very, very different. It's a bold design by Adidas and it works very well. With the 2.0 model, as far as what you get that is carried over from the top end 1.0 is, of course, the use of protective mesh on the lateral side of the boot. So you have that exact same protective mesh material, giving you that little bit of extra protection that you wouldn't normally have. It goes all the way back to the Achilles area where you have those embedded pieces of foam. Again, a nice little idea by Adidas, but other than that, that's all you get as far as features that carry over from the Nitrocharge 1.0. Everything else about the shoe is completely different. You can see that the instep, which would normally be featured or be made out of protective mesh as well, is not protective mesh. It's actually this very kind of cheap synthetic material. This is not leather, keep that in mind. It's a very low quality synthetic. It's not bad, but for $100 I expect something much, much better than this. And like I said, it just isn't very good quality at all. You can see they've stitched it in such a way to make it look like it actually has those embedded pads into the upper itself. There is no extra padding there whatsoever, and for the most part, there isn't a lot of extra protection to be had from the Nitrocharge 2.0, period. Another feature that is kind of misleading with the Nitrocharge 2.0 is the energy sling system, which is this diagonal strip running across the forefoot area of the boot. Instead of being made from a rubberized material like you're going to find on the 1.0, it's just a very thin TPU film over top of this relatively cheap synthetic upper. It still works with the lacing system, but it's so thin that you don't really feel it hugging your foot when you tie the laces tight, and for the most part it's not going to do much at all other than to just have the appearance of the energy sling featured on the 1.0. So as far as features on the upper go, the only thing that carries over from the top end model to the takedown model is the use of protective mesh on the lateral side of the shoe and the pads on the back of the Achilles tendon guard. Is that worth half the price of the top end 1.0? If you ask me, it isn't. It's got the same lacing system as you can see, and even the tongue is made from just a very cheap synthetic. It's kind of poorly stitched as you can see, and it just seems very, very cheap for a shoe that retails for $100. And to me, it's just a price that I can't get over. I know I'm repeating myself over and over again, but for $100, I just expect something much, much better than this when it comes to quality of materials. You can see that you do have an internal plastic heel counter with this little piece of material over top to give the appearance of a one-piece heel counter like you're going to find on the 1.0, but unfortunately that is not the case. You do have your outsole, which again has a similar appearance to that of the Nitrocharge 1.0, but it's completely different. You have that zigzag pattern, which would normally be part of the energy pulse system on the 1.0. One of the kind of gimmicky features of that shoe, but this is not an energy pulse system at all. It's just an extra piece of plastic over top just to give it that same appearance as the top end model. And for the most part, you can see the sole plate is quite different in terms of its overall construction. It's not made out of the same materials, although the stud pattern is pretty much exactly the same. So in terms of performance, when it comes to just traction provided by the studs themselves, it's going to be very, very similar, although the sole plate doesn't seem to flex exactly the same way as the 1.0. And then of course the shoe is MyCoach compatible, so if you do have that MyCoach chip, you can slot it in there and go about your day. And that's pretty much it as far as all the tech specs and what you really need to know about all the materials featured on the Nitrocharge 2.0. And move on next to a quick weigh-in so you can see how lightweight these guys are. One of the key design elements of the top-end Nitrocharge 1.0 is not only that it features an above-average amount of protection, it also has a lightweight construction. And while the Nitrocharge 2.0 isn't what I would consider to be heavy, it certainly isn't at the same 8-ounce mark as the Nitrocharge 1.0, which isn't too surprising to be completely honest. So what I have here is a brand new pair in a size 9.5 US. We're going to throw it on the scale so you can see what they weigh in real time. And you can see that they weigh in at 10 ounces exactly. So 2 ounces more than the top end model. Again, not a big deal. There is a noticeable difference in weight, definitely. It certainly isn't a heavy shoe though. But again, for the $100 price tag, you might expect to get something a little bit more lightweight and something a little bit closer to the top end Nitrocharge 1.0. Alright, here's a look at the Nitrocharge 2.0s on feet. And for the most part, it's pretty comfortable. But there are some problems that I have with the overall fit, most notably in the heel area, and it's a similar problem that I have with the Adidas F30 as well as the F10, and that the heel just feels unusually shallow where your foot's not sitting deep enough in the shoe. Because of that, it almost feels like your heel is constantly popping out no matter how tight you tie the shoes. And I pretty much have them as tight as I can possibly make them while still maintaining a decent level of comfort. In terms of the overall width of the shoe, I would say that it's moderately wide. It's not really a great option for excessively wide-footed players, simply because I'm not sure how much this synthetic material will stretch. In fact, the protective mesh area through the midfoot won't stretch at all. So again, as long as you don't have excessively wide feet, this shoe should fit you okay. But again, keep in mind that there are some issues with the very shallow fit in the heel. In terms of sizing, I always find that Adidas takedown models tend to run about a half to a quarter size small. So instead of wearing my normal size 9 US like I would wear in the top end Nitrocharge 1.0, I went up to a 9.5 and the fit feels pretty much perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would personally recommend going half a size up for the most comfortable fit. Alright guys, that's it for my unboxing of the Nitrocharge 2.0. It's one of those shoes that I honestly just can't recommend pretty much at any price point, especially the $100 retail price. The quality isn't there, it's not the most comfortable shoe, the fit is still lackluster to say the least, and for the most part it just doesn't have a lot going for it. So for the most part, if you have $100 to spend, there are much better options than the Nitrocharge 2.0, so just keep that in mind. As far as the full written review goes, guys, I'm going to try and get a review up of these in the next month or two. It's not a high priority for me just because, like I already said, I'm not a huge fan of the shoe. The quality is definitely not there, and it's not something that I can personally recommend. So that full written review will show up at some point in time. As far as when that is specifically, I just don't know. If you have any questions regarding this particular shoe, or questions regarding Adidas takedowns in general, be sure to leave those down below in the comments, because I'm sure there will be quite a discussion going based on what I have said about this particular shoe. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to support it with a like, and also leave a comment down below. Let me know if there are any other takedowns in particular that you'd like to see me bring in and do a review of. Other than that though, guys, subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, thanks for watching.